resource. Yeah.
But one thing you didn't allude to, and I'm sure you're going to get to it, is if you have quality tweets, Google picks up on that, and your rating now goes higher and higher and higher.
Yeah.
So take articles, copy them like Mike Petro does, and send them out. Copy. It's the neatest thing, but that's what happens.
That's right. It makes you very, very searchable. And again, if you're being consistent between your messages on LinkedIn, your messages and your brand on Facebook, your messages and your brand on Twitter, you know, you're presenting that nice professional face that you want that could counteract some of, maybe perhaps some of the negatives that come through either about yourself or your company. What's that? 10, okay. You had a question.
Well, I think one of the challenges, these things are getting so blended
Yeah.
now. I mean, not only the techies doing widgets and things like that.
Sure.
I can go on LinkedIn and get into a group and do a thread on a subject, and you know, I don't even have to go to a blog somewhere else. I can go to somebody's wall on Facebook. It doesn't have to be mine. You know, in fact, the advantage of having your own, I'm not so sure is that clear. You know, just like playing King on the Hill or something. I mean, I've got I'm on a professor's listserver. That's a 1990s technology, but it's an email thread that is very visible. You don't have to remember to go look at it. It's right there in the email and so forth. And you know, given the touch, you only have finite time to slice up in one hand, in one mouse hand.
Yeah.
And so does your recipients.
It's true.
You know, it's sort of a slicing the pie.
It's a very much it is. Very much it is. But if somebody's doing an investigation on you, and there are, you know, plenty of recruiters that do investigation. We've all heard of this, right? They're doing an investigation on you. Again, if you're presenting that, you know, that even if you're not tweeting a ton, if you're presenting that same face in each one of those platforms, you're sending across the correct messages from what you want. The last one of the big four is YouTube. And people, okay, what in the world are you talking about with YouTube? But think about the power, if you can. You know, I know some companies have restrictions on this and you can't do that, but think about the power of having a company like Senate Productions, you know, do a short video of you talking about something that you're passionate about, or an idea that you have, or something that happened, or maybe you're even honoring a set of employees that did a great job in a project. You post that up to YouTube. Think of how powerful that can be, right? For yourself and for your company. Or, on the other hand, if you're looking for a position, think about how powerful that could be if they start doing a search for you and they see you talking in a professional way about something that you've accomplished or something that you want to do. I don't know. It could be another great facet for that whole personal branding going on. So in addition to the big four in managing your digital presence is blogging. You know, we've all heard about blogging. For all of you, you know, blogging may be a really tough chore to think about even doing. But for those of you, if you're in the management executive level, you know, quality can be over quantity. Quality over quantity. Think about what an impact you can make by talking about something that happened at your company, something you're proud of, something, you know, something that you know, maybe you helped make happen. Since you're in a leadership position, people are watching you. Think about how powerful that can be that you've mentioned them in a blog, or you've mentioned something that happened in your company in a blog. And again, because of our economic times, the fact that you need to be thinking about, and I'm sure Gordon would agree with me, you know, you always want to be thinking about yourself more as an entrepreneur than a company man or a company woman. Would you agree with that these days? Thinking like an entrepreneur means that you're crafting yourself and being able to own your own autonomy because you have your own brand that you don't have to scramble to put together because you just got laid off. It's already there. Okay? So something to think about. You could do your own Wikipedia or have somebody do a Wikipedia entry for you. How cool is that? I mean, anybody can do it. It may seem arrogant, I suppose, but why not? It doesn't have to be, you know, voluminous. I mean, it can be succinct about who you are. It's another thing that indexes really well in the search engines, so another option. And then you can also do a quick profile on google.com, which again is a great thing that indexes really well. So some really good ideas for the whole digital presence. Yeah?
For Wikipedia, Wikipedia and for Google profiles, what would you think if somebody used their LinkedIn profile? Something very similar to LinkedIn.
I'm sorry, used it for?
So for Wikipedia entry, as well as for Google profile,
Yeah.
the same content as LinkedIn.
Sure. Yeah. It's factual. You know, if he's asking if you use your LinkedIn profile as, the same content in a Wikipedia entry. Absolutely. It's factual, hopefully. And it's true to the point of who you are and what you've accomplished and, maybe even some of your new ideas. Yes?
I was going to say, the thing about the Wikipedia, I don't know if this is true, this is what I heard, is you create your entry and then somebody else plays a joke and edits it and puts in something
It's true.
not so good. And,
That can happen.
And then unless you're monitoring it all the time and cleaning it up.
That can happen. Absolutely.
But you can put a Google freeze on it too.
On the Wikipedia? Or
Yeah.
Wikipedia?
And you can do, and I'm going to talk about monitoring because you bring up a great point, that you also have to continually monitor your presence, right? So a couple more things about managing your presence. Keys to your online digital presence. Authenticity, be authentic. Of course, the people that report to you are going to see, catch phoniness faster than anybody else because that's what they're looking for. But being authentic in all of the different platforms just means, be yourself, take pride in the accomplishments that you have, and let people see your humanity. That can be really valuable. It can be really, really valuable. You want to be consistent. I've already talked about that. Show the same face on all of them. If that's, you need to go for that. And of course, again, your humanity. All right, so let's talk about monitoring. Here's a great thing to do. Google.com/alerts. How many of you do that for yourself? Great. Or for a company, for anything. You can do it for anything. Google.com/alerts. Simple way. You enter in your name. You can tell it how often you would be notified if your name or whatever it is, whatever search term you come up with is mentioned on the internet. Now, if you have a really common name, I'm sorry, that could be really a bummer. But, if you have, maybe there's a phrase that pays for you that, you tend to use a lot as a tagline or something, you could also put that in Google Alerts and see how often it pops up in other people's Twitter entries, blog entries, Facebook entries, etc., LinkedIn entries even. Creative disruption, that's right. That's a great one, okay? Google Reader, I'll show you a visual of that in a second. This is a great way to manage all of the RSS feeds that you like to look at. For instance, I look at Mashable. Anybody heard of Mashable.com? Talks a lot about social media, tons of articles every day. Social media news, but whatever your industry is, of course, there are tons of articles going out about that. This is a way to kind of conglomerate all of those RSS feeds, so you just look on one page to glance at all the articles that might be interesting to you, so you're catching up. That's also a way to monitor whether you might even pop up somewhere, or your company, okay? Check in regularly, so that's what we're talking about. Wherever you're at, you do need to check in on a pretty frequent basis. The idea is for your level, it's not to spend hours and hours and hours on this stuff. It's to check in, it's to monitor it, it's to maybe put out effective quality messages and be done with it and get on with your day.